Don't chase, attract. What belongs to you will simply find you. Have you ever wondered what life would be like if you could naturally attract the circumstances and opportunities you desire without the need to desperately chase them? Imagine an existence where your inner energy and actions in harmony create a magnetic field that draws everything that is genuinely yours. This is not a fantasy, but a philosophical practice deeply rooted in Stoicism, a school of thought that teaches us the essence of active detachment and trust in the flow of life. So why do so many of us live in a constant search, often accompanied by anxiety and frustration? What if we told you that the key to a fulfilling life is not in the relentless effort to grasp what we want, but in cultivating an inner presence that attracts what is destined for us? What would happen if, instead of trying to control every aspect of our lives, we learn to navigate with confidence and serenity, accepting what life brings while remaining committed to our values and ethical actions? Let's begin this journey to discover how you can, in fact, attract rather than chase and allow what belongs to you to simply find you. 1. The philosophy of Stoic detachment. Imagine for a moment the power of living without being a slave to your own expectations or desires that seem never to be satisfied. This is what Stoic detachment proposes: emotional freedom that does not mean indifference, but rather a deep inner peace. It's like letting go of the illusion of control over what doesn't depend on us, and instead focusing on what we can truly influence: our reactions and choices. When we talk about detachment, the idea of distancing oneself from everything, of not caring, often comes to mind. But Stoic detachment is much more than that. It teaches us to align our desires with reality, accepting that not everything we want belongs to us, and that what is truly ours finds its way to us without the need for desperate effort. Think about how many times you felt frustrated because something didn't happen as planned. This frustration arises from expectation, from the attempt to control the uncontrollable. Detachment invites us to abandon this internal struggle, to understand that anxiety arises when we try to mold reality to our will instead of accepting it as it is. This philosophy allows us to reduce anxiety because it frees us from the burden of expectations that are never completely fulfilled. Stoicism offers us a new perspective. By detaching, we are not losing, but gaining clarity, serenity, and a deeper connection with what truly matters. So isn't it worth considering this shift in perspective? Detachment is not the end of something, but the beginning of a life more aligned with reality, where inner peace becomes the true guide. How could you apply this principle in your life today? 2. Transforming attachment into trust. Have you ever thought about the difference between holding onto something with desperation and holding onto it with confidence? This is exactly the transformation that Stoic philosophy invites us to make, to trade anxious attachment for serene trust. When we are attached, anxiety takes over. We want everything to happen in a certain way, in our time, in our way. But do we really have that power? Epictetus reminds us that we don't control events, but rather how we react to them. This is liberating. We don't need to carry the weight of the world, just the light burden of our own choices. Marcus Aurelius complements this idea by teaching that there is wisdom in accepting the flow of life. He encourages us to trust the process, to understand that there is a natural order to everything, even if we don't immediately comprehend it. What is beyond our control should not be a source of suffering, but of acceptance. And this is where true trust is born. By transforming attachment into trust, we stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. The anxious pursuit of desires dissolves, giving way to a posture of acceptance. It is not resignation, but a conscious choice to trust that things will follow the right course as long as we do our part. This shift in perspective frees us from anxiety and allows us to live with more lightness. Imagine the relief of not needing to control everything, of trusting the natural flow of life, knowing that by doing what is within our reach, the rest will unfold as it should. Are you ready to transform attachment into trust? What would your life be like if instead of clinging to what you can't control, you chose to trust and accept whatever comes? 3. Detailing the concept of detachment. The concept of detachment can often seem difficult to understand, but when we delve deeper, we see that it is not about giving up our dreams or desires. Instead, detachment is about disconnecting our actions from the results we expect. It's like planting a seed and caring for it with dedication without obsessing over the fruit it will produce. When we focus only on the outcome, anxiety and the fear of failure begin to dominate our actions. But Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process, on what we can control, our attitudes, our effort, our integrity. This is what should guide our lives. Accepting reality as it is, without trying to force it to be as we want, is true detachment. It doesn't mean giving up, but rather having clarity about what is possible and serenity to deal with what is beyond our reach. When we focus on the process, we live more in the present, less worried about what is to come, and more connected with the now. In practice, detachment begins with the understanding that while we can control our efforts and actions, the final outcomes of these efforts often depend on variables beyond our control. This is not an invitation to inactivity or disinterest, but rather a call for total engagement in the process without becoming obsessed with the final outcome. As Epictetus suggests, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Here are some practical aspects of detachment. 1. Acceptance. Accept reality as it is, not as we would like it to be. This acceptance is not passive, but a firm foundation for conscious and effective action. 2. Focus on effort, not on the result. While we fully dedicate ourselves to the work or task at hand, we must let go of the need for a specific outcome. This reduces pressure and increases our ability to act effectively and creatively. 3. Emotional balance. Maintain calm and serenity regardless of external circumstances. This is achieved through regular practice of reflection, meditation, and other mental exercises that strengthen our emotional resilience. 4. Re-evaluation of success. Definitions. Redefine what success means to include personal growth, excellence in effort, and contribution to others instead of focusing solely on achieving specific goals. 5. Cultivation of gratitude. Value what we already have and the experiences we've had instead of always fixating on what is lacking or what could be. Detachment offers us the chance to live more lightly, not to be bound by rigid expectations. After all, what is within our reach is the effort we put into each task, each relationship, each choice. The result that no longer depends on us. So how can you start applying this concept in your life? Which areas can you focus more on the process and less on the results? By practicing detachment, you will find a life guided by clarity and serenity, where success is not defined by the result, but by the path taken. 4. The power of detachment to attract infinite possibilities. Have you ever noticed how sometimes when we stop fixating on a specific outcome, things start to flow in a surprising way? This is the power of detachment in action. When we let go of attachment to a single possibility, we open space for a universe of opportunities that we had not even imagined. Detachment from results is not a renunciation of effort, but a release of the mental rigidity that binds us to a single vision of success. When we detach, our creative energy is liberated. We start to see solutions where there were only obstacles before because our minds are not trapped by the fear of failure or the expectation of a single outcome. This flexibility is essential in such a dynamic world. The most successful people are those who can adapt, who see challenges not as an end, but as an opportunity to explore new paths. And this is only possible when we are not fixated on how things should be. Moreover, detachment gives us resilience. By not depending on a single outcome to feel successful, we are less likely to be shaken by setbacks. This allows us to keep moving forward even when the scenery changes, keeping focus on what really matters: learning, growth, and the journey. And the most interesting thing is that by detaching from results, we open space for the unexpected. Often, the best opportunities come from where we least expect, but we can only recognize them when we are not blinded by the obsession with a single path. So how about starting to practice detachment today? Releasing control over the results may be the key to discovering a world of infinite possibilities, where success is measured not by the destination, but by the opportunities that reveal themselves along the way. 5. Detachment in practical situations. Let's imagine two situations: a job interview and a creative project. In both cases, the desire to achieve a specific result can generate enormous anxiety, which in turn hampers performance. It is at this point that detachment becomes a powerful tool. Think of a job interview. The pressure to get the position can make anxiety take over, blocking your ability to show your best self. Now imagine if, instead of focusing only on the result, whether you get hired or not, you concentrate on doing your best during the conversation. This focus on the process allows you to present yourself more confidently and naturally, because you're not stuck in the fear of a possible no. Detachment here reduces tension, leaving room for your true competence to shine. The same applies to a creative project. When we are obsessed with the idea that it needs to be perfect or that it must please everyone, our creativity can become stifled. Detachment allows you to explore ideas freely without the burden of needing to achieve a rigid standard of success. This not only improves the final result, but also makes the process much more enjoyable and productive. In both cases, detachment acts as a relief for the mind. By letting go of the pressure of results, you allow yourself to act more authentically, which naturally elevates the quality of what you deliver. It's not about indifference, but a shift in focus from the end to the means, from the result to the process. So how can you apply detachment in your next challenging situation? Whether in an interview or a project, by concentrating on the present and what is within your control, you not only reduce anxiety, but also increase your chances of success. After all, when we detach from the result, we are freer to give our best. 6. Tips for practicing detachment. Cultivating detachment is like training a muscle. It requires constant practice, but the benefits are transformative. Let's explore some practical strategies that can help you internalize detachment and thus live more peacefully and effectively. First, meditation is a powerful tool. By meditating, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without attaching to them. It's like watching clouds pass by in the sky. They come and go, but the sky remains. This distancing helps you realize that your thoughts don't need to control your actions or well-being. With regular practice, meditation teaches you to detach from the impulses and anxieties that arise daily. Another essential practice is gratitude. When we focus on what we already have, instead of what we want to achieve, we detach from the constant pursuit of more. Gratitude anchors us in the present, bringing a sense of fullness and contentment. By starting or ending the day listing a few things you are grateful for, you shift your focus from what is lacking to what is already abundant in your life. Focusing on the process instead of the results is also a practical way to cultivate detachment. As we discussed earlier, when you put your attention on what you can do now, the future ceases to be a source of anxiety. This not only relieves pressure, but also improves performance in any task. Finally, visualizations can be a valuable ally. Imagine yourself facing a challenging situation, such as an interview or an important project, and visualize yourself focusing on the process, acting calmly, and accepting any outcome. This mental practice helps program your mind to respond more serenely when the actual situation occurs. So, where will you start? Maybe with a brief morning meditation or practicing gratitude before bed. By incorporating these strategies into your daily life, you will be building a solid foundation of detachment that not only brings more tranquility to your life, but also makes your actions more effective and aligned with what really matters. 7. The Stoic law of attraction. The idea that we attract what we emit is not new, but when we look at it through the lens of Stoicism, we gain an even deeper and more practical perspective. The Stoic law of attraction suggests that the quality of our personal energy and the emotional control we exercise directly influence the circumstances we attract into our lives. In Stoicism, virtue is the foundation of everything. When we cultivate virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, our energy changes. We begin to act according to these principles, and this not only strengthens us internally, but also shapes the type of situations and people we attract. When we are guided by virtue, we attract opportunities and relationships that resonate with this same elevated energy. Self-sufficiency is another Stoic pillar that impacts what we attract. When we do not rely externally to validate our happiness or completeness, we become magnets for situations that reflect this self-sufficiency. From this state of balance, we begin to attract not what we desperately need, but what truly enriches us. Finally, emotional control plays a crucial role. By keeping our emotions in balance, we are not easily disturbed by external events. This emotional stability creates an energetic field that repels chaos and negativity, attracting instead serenity and circumstances that contribute to our personal growth and well-being. These Stoic principles of virtue, self-sufficiency, and emotional control are not just philosophical concepts. They are forces that shape the reality around us. By aligning our energy with these foundations, we not only become stronger and more resilient, but also create an environment that naturally attracts what is positive and beneficial. So how can you apply the Stoic law of attraction in your life? Perhaps it's time to reflect on what energies you are emitting and how they are influencing what you attract. By strengthening your virtues, cultivating self-sufficiency, and maintaining emotional control, you can start manifesting circumstances more aligned with what you truly desire. 8. Advice for attracting what you desire. Attracting what we really want in life is not just a matter of will, but of alignment between who we are and what we seek. Stoic philosophy offers a clear path to achieving this alignment based on solid virtues and a mindset of abundance. Here are some practical guidelines inspired by Stoic philosophy that can help guide this process. 1. Clarify your true desires. First of all, it is crucial to clearly understand what you really want, differentiating superficial and fleeting desires from deeper and more meaningful aspirations. This can be done through introspection and self-analysis. Ask yourself why you want something and what it really means to you. This will help align your efforts with your truest values and purposes. 2. Cultivate Stoic virtues. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of cultivating virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. These virtues help create a solid foundation for any action and decision, ensuring that your activities are aligned with ethical principles and a sense of justice. Living according to these virtues also attracts circumstances and relationships that reflect similar values. 3. Practice active acceptance. Accepting reality as it is, without unnecessary resistance, is fundamental. This does not mean resignation, but an active acceptance that seeks to understand the current circumstances and work with them, not against them. This helps reduce stress and anxiety, allowing a clearer focus on the actions that can actually alter the course of events. 4. Maintain emotional autonomy. Maintaining a certain emotional autonomy allows you to respond to situations more objectively and less reactively. This is essential for not being overwhelmed by temporary emotions that can divert you from your long-term goals. 5. Focus on abundance, not on scarcity. Focus on what you already have and what is within your reach to improve or acquire, rather than fixating on what is lacking or inaccessible. This creates a mindset of abundance, which in turn attracts more positivity and opportunities into your life. 6. Practice daily gratitude. Daily gratitude is a powerful practice that shifts your focus from worries to blessings. This elevates your emotional state, improving your vibration and making you more receptive to the good things the universe has to offer. 7. Use positive visualizations. Visualize yourself achieving your desires and living the life you aspire to. These positive visualizations not only improve your mood and optimism, but also mentally prepare you to act in ways that facilitate the achievement of these goals. 8. Consistent and conscious action. Aligning desire with action is crucial. Conscious and consistent actions towards your goals demonstrate commitment to your true desires and facilitate their manifestation. Every step taken is progress in the right direction, regardless of the obstacles that may arise. By following these guidelines, you will be better equipped to align yourself with your true desires and cultivate the emotions and attitudes that facilitate the manifestation of these desires, leading to a fuller and more harmonious life. So how can you start attracting what you really want? By cultivating clarity, practicing gratitude, actively accepting what is beyond your control, and acting with intention, you not only manifest a fuller life, but also align with what is truly important to you. After all, attracting what you desire begins with being who you really are. 9. Using imagination for creative manifestation. Imagination is one of the most powerful tools we possess to shape our reality. It is not just an escape from reality, but a way to create the future we desire. Neuroscience and quantum physics have shown that what we vividly imagine can influence our actions and consequently our results. When you use your imagination to visualize a goal, something magical happens. Your brain starts to treat that vision as something real. It activates the same neural networks that would be used if you were actually living that experience. This prepares your mind and body to act towards what you have visualized, making it more likely that you will make the right decisions and maintain the focus necessary to achieve your goals. Quantum physics suggests that reality is influenced by the observer, that is, by consciousness. When we imagine a desired outcome, we are in a way influencing the possibilities around us. Although this may seem abstract, the practice of visualization, widely used by athletes and successful entrepreneurs, proves that imagination can be a practical and powerful tool for manifesting goals. In addition to visualizing, it is essential to plan. Imagination is not just about creating fantasies, but about using these visions to build an action plan. When you imagine the future you desire, think about the steps needed to get there. This not only strengthens your commitment, but also makes the goal more tangible and achievable. So how can you use your imagination to create the reality you desire? Start by setting aside a few minutes of your day to vividly visualize your goals. Feel the emotions, see the details, and then plan the actions that will lead you to that future. Imagination, when allied with action, is a powerful force for transforming dreams into reality. 10. Finding peace and trusting the divine flow. As we progress on the journey of manifestation, we arrive at a fundamental conclusion. To truly attract what we desire, we need to find inner peace and trust in the flow of the universe. This trust is not passive, but an active acceptance that while we do our part, greater forces are at play that guide our steps. Finding inner peace is essential to navigate life's uncertainties. When we are at peace, our minds calm down, our vision clears, and we can make decisions with more wisdom and discernment. This peace does not depend on external circumstances, but comes from a deep acceptance that, regardless of what happens, we have the ability to deal with challenges. Trusting in the divine flow is recognizing that there is a natural rhythm to everything, an order that we sometimes don't fully understand, but that always works in our favor if we are aligned with it. This trust allows us to let go of the need for control and embrace what life brings with the certainty that everything happens for a reason, even if we can only understand it later. By accepting what life offers without resistance, we open space for things to flow more harmoniously. Instead of fighting against the course of events, we navigate with it, taking advantage of the momentum the universe provides us. It is a dance between action and acceptance, where we do our best and trust that the rest will be taken care of. So how can you apply this trust in your life? Perhaps it's time to stop resisting what you cannot change and start embracing what is, trusting that the universe has a greater plan in mind. Finding peace and trusting the divine flow does not mean giving up on your dreams, but rather surrendering them with faith, knowing that at the right time, what is truly yours will find its way to you. As we reflect on Stoic wisdom and explore the practices of detachment, trust, and alignment with the virtues that naturally attract what is genuinely ours, we can perceive significant changes in how we experience life. It is not just about understanding philosophical theories, but about applying them in daily life to live more fully and harmoniously. Now, I would like to hear from you. Which of these principles resonated most with your life? Was there a moment when, by practicing detachment, you found surprising peace or saw an unexpected solution present itself? Share your experience in the comments. I would love to hear your story. If this video brought value to you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This way you help bring this message to more people and stay updated on all upcoming content. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share the video. Let's spread this wisdom together. Remember, what is truly yours will find its way to you when you are in tune with your essence. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. A big hug and see you in the next video.